Welcome to the Sound of Serenity, a scientific approach to auditory enrichment for canine welfare. This is a synthesis of peer-reviewed findings and practical applications for pet professionals, researchers, and everyday owners who want calmer, healthier dogs.
Let's start with the basic reality. Dogs perceive a world of sound far beyond our own, which makes them uniquely vulnerable to auditory stress from sources we might not even notice. On this slide, you can see the difference. Human hearing is typically shown from about 20 Hz up to 20,000 Hz. Canine hearing reaches higher, up to around 60,000 Hz on this graphic. So while you're living in your normal soundscape, your dog may be catching the high-frequency hum of electronics and reacting to distant sirens long before you even register them. Next big idea is stress is more than behavior. It's a measurable physiological state. Noise exposure, chronic or acute, like thunderstorms, fireworks, kennels, and even grooming salons, can trigger real physiological stress responses. The research often tracks three buckets: heart rate variability, HRV, a key indicator of nervous system balance. Higher HRV generally points to rest and recovery. Cortisol, the stress hormone, measurable in saliva or urine, and behavioral indicators: pacing, excessive vocalizing, trembling, and standing or hypervigilance. And that's why this topic is so useful. We can objectively measure whether an intervention actually works. Here's the foundational finding: classical music reduces stress in kennels. This slide references Bowman et al. 2015 with the Scottish SPCA and the University of Glasgow. Researchers played classical music, including Bach, Barber, and Debussy, for kennel dogs and observed the responses. Key findings: stress decreased significantly, supported by heart rate analysis and salivary cortisol. Dogs spent more time resting, more lying down, and there was less standing and barking, classic stress-related behaviors. So this isn't music is cute, it's music can change measurable stress outcomes. Now it gets fun. It's not just classical. This slide points to Bowman et al. 2017 in Physiology and Behavior, where researchers expanded testing across multiple genres over 5 days. And the surprising result? While all music was better than silence, soft rock and reggae stood out for superior calming effects. In their wording, HRV was significantly higher, indicative of decreased stress, when dogs listened to soft rock and reggae. So yes, your dog might chill harder to mellow rock or reggae than to a string quartet. But there's a catch: the fade-out effect. Dogs habituate to repeated auditory stimuli, so a calming effect on day 1 can diminish or disappear by day 3 if you keep replaying the exact same tracks. This slide notes that in the Scottish SPCA study, the calming effects only lasted for a short period, and dogs became habituated after as little as 1 day. So the practical takeaway is simple: variety is essential. With varied genres, the physiological and behavioral changes stayed more constant across the enrichment period, suggesting that rotating sound reduces habituation. Next, a very real-world stress zone: the grooming salon. The challenge is obvious: loud equipment like dryers and clippers, unfamiliar people, handling, and often owner absence. This slide describes the classical cuts pilot. 15 dogs observed under 3 conditions: no music, Beethoven's Moonlight Sonata, and Chopin's Nocturne. Result: dogs showed significantly calmer behavior in the music conditions, and male dogs in particular showed a significant reduction in stress responses. Now we move from background enrichment to something stronger: conditioning music to treat separation anxiety. The principle here is a conditioned emotional response. pairing a neutral stimulus, like music, with a positive emotional state, being calm with the owner. Over time, the music itself can trigger that calm state. In the study on this slide, researchers conditioned 14 dogs with separation problems by playing owner-selected music for 20 minutes 3 times a day for 20 days while the owner was present in a calm environment. Then they tested the dogs alone in an unfamiliar room with either silence, classical music, or their conditioned owner music. These are preliminary results, but the message is important. Music can become a powerful calming cue when it's trained properly.
All right, let's make this usable. This slide lays out 5 pillars for effective auditory enrichment. Pillar 1. Genre. Soft rock, reggae, and simple classical compositions are shown here as most effective. Avoid heavy metal or discordant sounds. Pillar 2. Tempo. Slow, simple music with regular rhythms is key. Aim for 50 to 60 beats per minute to encourage relaxation. Pillar 3. Volume. A dog's hearing is highly sensitive. Keep volume moderate. In noisy places like kennels, music can mask aversive sounds, but avoid exceeding 80 to 85 decibels. Pillar 4. Variety. To prevent habituation, rotate playlists daily or every few days. Mixing genres can maintain the calming effect longer term. Pillar 5. Conditioning. For specific anxieties like separation, consistently pair one specific playlist with calm, positive experiences to build a strong, calming cue.
Now we dig deeper. Frequency and species-specific sound design. This slide highlights that dogs are highly sensitive to frequency and that low-frequency sounds around 20 to 50 Hz can create a grounding effect that calms the nervous system. And for senior dogs with hearing loss, those lower frequencies can still be perceived as vibrations, which may matter a lot when high-frequency hearing fades. Then there's the case study. A 6-week pet acoustics biometric trial comparing canine-specific music, classical music, and silence on 12 service dogs in a kennel environment. On the charts, pulse, respiration, and posture score trend lower with the canine-specific option, while HRV trends slightly higher. Small differences, but consistent in the direction you want. The banner conclusion is basically when music is built with controlled volumes, tones, and frequencies tailored to canine hearing comfort, it can produce measurable and repeatable calming results. Here's the practical "Where do I use what?" guide. Shelters and kennels. High ambient noise and confinement stress. Solution? Play varied playlists, soft rock, reggae, classical, on rotation. The presence of any music is significantly better than silence. Grooming salons. Stress from equipment noise and handling. Solution: slow-tempo classical piano, Beethoven, Chopin, at a volume like 75 decibels to mask harsh dryer and clipper sounds. Separation anxiety. Implement a conditioning protocol. Choose one specific album and play it only during calm, positive interactions for several weeks before using it during absences. Senior dogs. Focus on lower frequencies below 200 Hz and avoid high-pitched instruments like flutes or sharp piano notes. How do you know it's working? Watch your dog. This slide gives a clean checklist. Signs of relaxation: settling down, relaxed muscles, soft eyes, slow blinks, neutral ears, relaxed jaw, deep, slow breathing and sighs, quietly chewing a toy, even falling asleep. Signs of stress: tense body, trembling, pacing, frequent moving, dilated pupils, pinned back ears, panting when it's not hot, yawning, excessive nose licking, rapid shallow breathing, whining, barking, trying to escape or hide. And the final line is the best guidance of all. Observe before, during, and after. Your dog is the most reliable feedback source.
Quick reality check. The research is promising, but there are limitations. Many studies are small-scale and short-term, and a lot of them happen in kennels rather than homes. There's also a generalization problem. Classical music can mean wildly different instrumentation, tempo, and timbre. Future work needs to define those characteristics more precisely. And of course, individual and breed differences matter. Head shape, ear mobility, age, learning history. One size doesn't fit all. So treat this as a science-backed starting point and document what you see with your specific dog. Here's what good auditory enrichment can do. For dogs, reduce physiological stress, decrease excessive barking and restlessness, improve sleep quality and recovery, and provide crucial sensory enrichment that helps prevent boredom and anxiety. For caregivers and organizations, create quieter shelters and clinics, improve handling and human-dog interactions, strengthen the human-animal bond, and it may even support improved adoption rates in shelter contexts.
So here's the takeaway. Rotate your sound, keep volume gentle, aim for slow rhythm, and let your dog's body language be your compass. Turn down the stress, turn up the science.
Just a note, if your dog has severe anxiety or noise phobia, use this as support, not a replacement for veterinary or qualified behavior guidance.